Hello everybody, Steve Gadsby here for ServiceGab.com, and today I want to talk about getting paid, because what matters more than getting paid at the end of jobs? And sometimes it's a little bit of an art and a little bit of a science, and there's some key principles that we always run with towards getting paid that help us get paid. We've done thousands of jobs over the years. We have extremely low bad debts because we are very assertive if people don't pay right away, or people think that they can get out of paying. It's a very low percentage of people. 98% of people are extremely upfront, extremely honest, extremely forthcoming with paying you, but once in a while things can get a little bit tricky. The biggest way to avoid it is to not take on the bad customers. So there's signs to look for, and there's people that we do avoid. So it was the worst at the early parts of the business because you're so desperate to build the business that you take on more bad debts and you take on more risky customers than you need to, or you put yourself in riskier positions, like having big accounts receivable and stuff like that. Don't take accounts receivable. Don't do any accounts receivable. It's a terrible idea. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the mindset. So there's a certain mindset that you need to have with money. So this is what we instill with everybody at our company. It's a company culture, which is when we're done a job, installations for us generally take 1 day. Also, to quickly introduce myself, my name is Steve Gadsby. Myself, my business partner, and a group of our amazing employees, we built a business to about $3.5 million doing products and services for people's houses related to the HVAC business. So heating, air conditioning, primarily residential. So the first thing that we like to focus on is the mindset. So everybody's on the same mindset, everybody's on the same page, and within about 3 weeks of working out the company, you get on the same mindset pretty quick, which is we get paid at the end of jobs. Everybody knows this. We take it very seriously. If a job is coming to a close and somebody isn't there to pay the bill, say the customer leaves, we start running that up the flagpole. It goes to a manager. If they can't resolve it, it comes straight up to us. There's myself and the other owner. So take it very seriously. If you're the owner of your company, let that phone call come to you. You need to deal with that yourself and see what's going on there. So don't let your guys leave the job without collecting. I think over the years, what's helped us get a very, very tight collection method is always blaming yourself for not getting paid. So if you blame yourself, you go, wow, how did I screw that up? Why are we not paid right now? And you'll start to think, your brain will start to tell you answers. It'll start to say things like, you know what, you could have warned the employees that this is possibly a risky customer. You could have phoned the customer midday and reminded them that they need to pay. You could have avoided the customer in the first place. There are signs and symptoms. What did you miss of the signs and symptoms? So you start to blame yourself as much as you can, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. It's something that you could have done differently to prevent this. So, and in your market, you're going to learn what the signs and symptoms are, but people are people. So I think that's not getting paid extremely seriously. Always focus on getting paid. If you start to let that slip, it can literally ruin your business. So I think the biggest thing towards getting paid is to anticipate who is not going to pay you. So the biggest telltale for me, and I think it's a perfect one-to-one rule, is don't trust people that don't trust you, right? If you're a good and trustable person and they're giving you untrusting symptoms, that means that's who they are. They don't trust people, right? So they're going to do some funny stuff to protect themselves, or what they think is protecting themselves. So you'll get to the end of the job and they'll say stuff like, you know what, you didn't quite complete that. I'm going to hold back this check for $5,000 because you didn't do that thing that was worth $10. They won't say that, but that's essentially what they're doing. Some minor little thing, and they'll hold back $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 because you didn't do something that was worth $10. And that, my friends, is bullshit. That nothing irritates me more in business than when a customer does that, because that is showing ultimate distrust that we won't come back. You don't hold that over somebody's head. So what we do, we instantly go back and we say, essentially, you can't do that. We need to pay for equipment. We need to pay our guys. You can hold back 10%, and they'll still push back, and they'll come up with more excuses. They'll say, I made a certified check. It's for the exact amount. There's nothing I can do. Well, then you go, you know what? I'll cut you a company check for the equivalent of 10% and trade you for that certified check. You don't get rude. You don't elevate your voice, but you do be very assertive when people aren't paying you on time. So if people don't trust you, don't trust them. 100% promise you that. So Years ago, I'd say 5 years ago, we literally canceled our accounts receivable department because there was too much stuff going on where we started to trust people too much. So our accounts receivable department grew and grew and grew until it was $50,000 or $60,000. We were quite small back then. So $50,000 or $60,000 was the whole thing. $50,000 or $60,000 was, that was all the money that we had kicking around for that. So that basically made it so we could barely make payroll. So then we chased these contractors around who were working under, for all this money. We thought, screw it. Any job that requires us to wait 30 or 60 days to get paid, we're not doing it. So we exited the new construction market. Our business is entirely in the replacement market, plus, of course, the service side of things, which is a big chunk of our business. But we exited everything that we need accounts receivable. If somebody wants to build a house with us, if somebody wants to do that work, we'll say that's fine. But upon leaving the job, we will collect 90%, and you can do a 25-day holdback for the balance. Sorry, my phone just clicked there. My apologies. We always collect a 10% deposit. So there's actually a double-edged sword for collecting the 10% deposit. One part of it is it secures them, so they stop thinking about what they're going to buy next. The more goes into sales. The other part is they become accustomed to opening their wallet. So yes, they've given 10%, and we make it very clear that the other 90% is doing completion. So we don't mess around with that information. That's very, very clear up front. We also never, ever outsource any of our collection efforts. So if somebody hasn't paid, we keep that in-house and we focus on it. We take that, we stick it to the wall, and we go, this person hasn't paid. And every time I walk by, I get irritated, and I say something like, let's call them, or I call them myself. We leave the cell number on there, and if these people are bad creditors and they don't have very much money to pay, I guarantee we are the squeakiest wheel out there, and we're going to get paid first. We're not. And if you do call to make collection payments, don't be aggressive, don't be rude, don't be anything except for relatively pleasant and relatively assertive, because that opens a door to let them know that you're going to be calling them again tomorrow. And the next day you tell them that you're calling them again tomorrow, and you be very, very forthright with them that you're going to keep on top of it. So, longer jobs actually make it tougher to get paid in full on completion. So most of our jobs are exactly 1 day. We take the equipment out, we put new equipment in. If the job goes longer than 1 day, say 2 days, 3 days, week-long jobs, bigger and bigger jobs, it makes it much more difficult to get paid at the end. So what we found for bigger jobs is, of course, we come in with some percentages. So 50% up front, 40% upon usable condition. Very, very careful. Say usable condition. Otherwise, they're going to hold back thousands of dollars for some small $10 parts. So this is on multi-day jobs, the bigger stuff. So 40% on usable condition, and then don't try to take 100% on a multi-day job. You're not going to get it, because they have too much things that they're unsure about. They don't know the system good enough. So automatically give them, say, a 25 or a 30-day 10% holdback. Let them hold a little bit of money back. This does not apply to single-day jobs. Single-day jobs you collect in full and completion. On multi-day, bigger jobs, allow them to hold back 10%, but you stipulate the terms in a contract that says you're allowed to hold that back for a total of 25 days. And then a 25-day, preferably you have a post-dated check, but if you don't, you make arrangements, say at 21 days, that you'll be coming out in 4 days to pick up the check. So you need to embed it in your entire culture. Getting paid is, new employees aren't used to the concept of how important getting paid is. So once everybody's on the same page, it makes it a lot easier. So, and again, this applies to that 2% of customers who you can't trust, right? It's unfortunate. 98% of customers, I literally love my customers. They're fantastic. I trust them completely. They trust us completely, and that's the type of relationship I like to have with customers. But sometimes you got to be assertive. Sometimes you got to work to get paid. That is my topic for today. Again, this is Steve Gadsby from servicegab.com, and find me on Periscope. It's an app for your Android or for your iPhone, and I do live video streams on all sorts of various topics, including HVAC. So I appreciate everybody's time, and come back and join us again at ServiceGab. Thank you very much.